Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this press conference. The second in the today's press conference is on the issue of Metro 2 and other metros also. It has a story behind this Metro 2 when it's going to be planned. At the time of the earlier government, they had also planned an overground metro, which the citizens all over the country they protested, all over the city they protested, and the earlier government overturned the order of overground and they decided to go underground. So this decision was taken by the Prithviraj Chauhan government, the earlier government. So the question is that when we could convince, the citizens could convince that more than a lakh of people had come on the streets to protest against this overground metro, what is that this government is overturning the decision made by the earlier government? So if it is only political, then there is a problem, because the citizens had really worked very hard. The earlier government was convinced. All the MPs, MLAs of various political parties, the presentations were made by the citizens, and Prithviraj Chauhan got convinced. In fact, just one meeting of an hour. This is very important to understand the basic issue. So we are quite shocked, we are quite surprised that this government has gone ahead in announcing and not ready to also listen to the citizens' concern of what are the objections and why are we, opposing the overground metro. Basic that we are not against metro, but we are wanting the metro to be underground. So to begin with the other journalists also, that there are a lot of organizations now. We have gone to 32 organizations, NGOs, residents association all over the city who are joining this, and they are getting more calls from the various citizens organizations who are going to be a part of this Apna Mumbai Abhiyaan, and it's going to go on a very large scale. The dialogue is not there. What is more objectionable, that we are not being taken into confidence. We मतलब citizens की बात कर रहे हैं, कि citizens को confidence में नहीं लिया जा रहा है कि आप कर क्या रहे हैं और क्यों कर रहे हैं. तो वो जो sense of doubt जो है, that is creating also more problems. So आज हम मेट्रो की बात करेंगे. दो स्पीकर्स हैं, Ansel D'Souza and Nitin Kelawala. Ansel D'Souza and Nitin Kelawala. Nitin ji is a very well-known architect. Ansel is also MBA professor and an advertising person who runs his own advertising agency. And he belongs to the Jewish Citizens Welfare Group, the chairman of the organization, and a very well-known activist also. I now request Hansel to start this press conference technically.
Good evening, friends, ladies and gentlemen. As Ashok briefed you, I think this must be the 50th or 60th time I am making a presentation on this underground. I'm kind of fed up of it by now. We've gone around the place, city, meeting every member of parliament 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, every single MLA, corporator, finally the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, the Chief Secretary and every official, the MMRDA and all of them. And not a single one of them left this presentation unconvinced. In fact, I remember when we made this presentation to the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and after the presentation was over, his response was, he turned to his Chief Secretary and said, "Is this true?" And Ashish Kumar Singh, and he asked him, "Is this true? Is this what we are going to do to Mumbai?" He said, no, we can't have this. We must do something. And to our good fortune, he took a decision that all metros in the city of Mumbai, in the dense city of Mumbai, from now onwards will be underground. And it's a very sad thing that after 3 years, the decision that the Chief Minister and his entire team took to go underground has now been overturned. And we are back to square one, and I am back on the road making this presentation. So those of you who have seen it before, if there is some repeats here and there, I'm very sorry. You can blame it on the Chief Minister. To begin with, the first question we as citizens ask, for some wisdom and for some reason you took a decision that we are going to have Metro 2 elevated. Why? Well, because it's cheaper and it's easier for us to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Our question is then, why is Colaba to Sears underground? The principle of any metro is anywhere is that if you go to the newest metro, Dubai, which was built in 2009, you will see the entire densely populated city has an underground metro, and when they come into the open areas, it gets elevated. You go to Singapore, you go to London, you go to any civilized city in the world, the principle holds true, except Mumbai. Here we have an entire 33.5 kilometer length from Colaba to Seeds that is going underground. But the Metro 2, they have changed their minds and now they are going overground. So, first of all, we are very unhappy that we are being discriminated against. This is creating, there is the young generation, the millennials, they have this term called burbies. And yes, someone, what is it? Burbies and the city slickers, alright. So there is a class system, new class system. And our government is following this class system. Underground metro is for the city slickers and elevated metro are for the burbies because they are the backward guys and they don't need a world-class metro. They're very unhappy with this because we think this is discrimination. First. Secondly, the principle. Every densely populated city area has an underground metro for obvious reasons because you have so many millions of people coming together, congregating every morning, getting into the train, moving out, you need space, you don't have space overground, so you go underground. Now, Andheri to Bandra is one of the most congested land masses on this planet. Not the city, not this country, on this planet. Because if you see, you have got about 29,650, now these are old figures, these are figures of 2011. Now they would have changed and they would have become much more than this, definitely not less than this. So we are talking about 29,650 people living per square kilometer in Mumbai, and if you look at Andheri and Bandra, it's probably the highest in Mumbai. And yet, this international principle is being turned on its head. And the government of Maharashtra is taking a decision to make Metro 2 elevated. No scope for expansion. So what is our protest? Last time we raised this objection, people said, this is the NIMBY phenomenon, not in my backyard. You people from Juhu, Bandra, Khar, Santa Cruz, you don't want anything to happen in your backyard. Like somebody had a problem with some voice getting spoiled because of some flyovers. You Juhu people think that you don't want to have elevated metro in your backyard. That's why you are making it. That is absolutely untrue. Whatever we are saying because we love Mumbai. We love Mumbai, we love this city, and whatever we want to do is for the good of the city. When we say no scope for expansion, we have no option but to look at other cities. You look at this country, city-state called Singapore, it's very surprising. This Mumbai is 674 square kilometers in size, and Singapore is 700 square kilometers in size. It's almost identical. Mumbai is an island or an isthmus that is out into the sea. Singapore is an island. So they have the similar challenges that we have. They cannot expand unless they reclaim land, and we also cannot expand unless we reclaim land. But just look at what they have done to their metro. They started in 1987, and today they've got a network of 170.7 kilometers with 142 stations on the same island space as Mumbai. Why? Because if you look at this map, every year they keep adding kilometers and kilometers and kilometers and expanding that metro system in order to reach more and more areas on that island of Singapore. By 2030, they plan to double the network to 360 kilometers. The plan is to provide a station within 10 minutes of each household. That means every single person in Singapore can walk 10 minutes to a metro station in 2030, and the waiting time for a train will be 5 minutes. Now this is what we call planning, and this is expansion. Look at what we have done with Metro 1. Yes, it's a nice thing that we have Metro 1, but look at the state of how it is. How can we ever expand this system? Can it expand laterally? Can we knock down buildings and hospitals and schools and skyscrapers and residential precincts and start building expansion networks? We can't, because it is elevated. You've carved it in stone, and now it's there for posterity. For the next 100 years, there is nothing you can do. And if Metro 2 is built elevated, it will be the same story in the most populated areas of Mumbai. We will have frozen in time the transport system. And that is our second major objection. You cannot think for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to become yesterday very soon. In 1985 or 1988, there was a proposal before the Maharashtra government to build the first metro in Mumbai. Do you know what the budget was? It was 300 crores. And the response of the government was, where will we find this money? This thing is only for rich countries. If we had spent 300 crores, rather invested 300 crores in 1985, we would have been probably a very developed city today. But today, we are making the same mistake we made then. They say a wise man makes a mistake, only a fool repeats it. We are repeating the errors of the past by making this metro elevated and stymieing all possibilities of expansion. So as Mumbaikars, we are concerned for the next generation, for the millennials who are going to live in the city. How are they going to travel to work? How are they going to travel every day? Will they have a station 10 minutes from their home? If that is to happen, then this must go underground. If Mumbai has to survive as a city, then the metro must go underground. Inconvenience to residents. Now, to build an elevated metro, you are going to dig up the existing infrastructure that is hardly there. For example, look at the footpaths. Please visit Metro 1 when you go to JP Road and try and search for the footpath to walk on. There is no footpath. Because when you're going to build overground, the first thing is a station, you're going to occupy the footpaths with pillars, which means the pedestrian has no space in Mumbai's plan. We have space for the car owners, we have space for luxury cars, we have space now even for parking, but we have no space for people who walk and cycle. I think this discrimination must stop. I think we must understand that footpaths are as important as roads in our city. 7,000 square meters of footpaths will be occupied by stairs, lifts and elevators. When we are doing this work, they are going to dig up the sewerage lines, 32 kilometers of sewer lines, 12.5 kilometers of water lines, 11 kilometers of gas lines. Okay, but where are you going to place them? How are people going to survive? It is like a surgeon doing a bypass surgery without anesthesia and the heart still beating. See, this is a similar kind of experiment that the MNRD is going to do, and nobody else is going to suffer but the people who live there. If you ask, I remember last time when we had this meeting with the MMRD officials, one of them said, "What are you talking? Once the metro line is built, we will charge a premium for flats that are on the either side of the metro line because it will be in demand. People will pay a premium, and at that time our property tax will be premium." Go today and see JP Road. People have left and run away. Forget about the premium. They are selling at a loss, at a discount, and nobody wants to buy. Who wants to have a metro train passing by your bedroom window every 3 minutes or every 5 minutes? Who wants to live through this mess that is still not clear 2 years after the metro has been built? We don't want this to happen to our suburb. We don't want this to happen to our city. And it is not only Khar, Andheri, Khar, Bandra, Juhu, Sandalpur that we are talking about. We are talking about the whole of Mumbai. We cannot have this kind of torture because metros are not built in 2 months and 3 months and 2 weeks. It takes years. It took 4 or 5 years for Metro Line 1 to be built. 7 years. 7 years for Metro 1 to be built. Metro 2 can't be less than 7 years because it's about 3 times the length. That means if we are going to live with this situation on our roads, we won't be able to last 21 years in this environment. And that is our next objection. SPM levels. Mumbai is fortunate. We are fortunate that we live by the sea and it is nature that is saving us. But with the sea breeze, our SPM levels still routinely go into the moderate and dangerous zone. If you are going to dig up the entire road outside my bedroom window and outside our homes for 7 years, what will be the SPM levels? How will we survive this metro? Now these are serious concerns that nobody is answering. All they are saying is that it's cheaper to build on top than to go underground. But what is cheaper? What is cost? We'll come to that in a moment. Road space. All of us know, well, we had to come to this press conference traveling from north to south. 4 of us left our cars behind and we carpooled to come here. Because you know the situation. There is no parking, there is no space on the road. Now, if you are going to consume road space by building on top of the road 22 stations, am I right with it? 27 stations on the middle of the road. Linking Road Bandra is a point to be thought about. Now I think they moved it off Linking Road. But the previous plan was 3 stations on Linking Road Bandra. Now on SV Road, how many stations is there? 6 to 7 stations between Santa Cruz and Bandra. Can you imagine the situation? Every kilometer, 1 station. And right in the middle, we're going to have a situation like this is the existing Metro 1. This is the distance between the building and the station. In some cases, it is anywhere between 6 inches to 18 inches, 1.5 feet. Now, if you are going to have the situation in half of Mumbai, you will be turning all of Mumbai into a slum. Because you don't have water, you don't have light. You'll have water, you won't have light. There's no sunlight. If you look at the situation today on JP Road, on Andheri Kurla Road, there is no sunlight. And there is always water accumulated at the bottom. I don't know why. But it is one of the stinkiest roads you will find in Mumbai city. Do we want this to happen to our city? And that is a question we must worry about and we must ask. The entire traffic, this is what it will look like. This is what it looks like just now. Right now, this is a shot of Andheri Kurla Road. Now, you're going to have the entire city from Dahisar to Mangpur via Andheri, Santa Cruz, Khar. This is one-way traffic. Now, imagine in the same space, you're going to have two-way traffic. I don't know. It really amazes me. I feel I am really, I feel quite dumb to be explaining this situation. The people planning it cannot visualize the situation. They cannot take a look at SV Road and say, listen, if we are going to build this, and these 8 stations or 7 stations, where will the traffic crowd? And where will the people walk? And where will the pavements be? And where will the median and the middle be? I don't know, I'm not a planner, but I think all those wise men sitting in MMRD office have to answer this question to the citizens. Right? What are you doing to the city of Mumbai? Their argument says, elevated railway saves costs. Yes, we all know it saves costs. The thumb rule is, if you take Delhi Metro and Hyderabad Metro and Jaipur and Bangalore, all over the country, the elevated metro costs about 150 crores per kilometer, and the underground costs them about 250 crores per kilometer. Whatever, it might be 5 or 10% up or down in Mumbai. I'm not going to get into that quibble, that's not my forte. 100 crores per kilometer extra is what we're going to spend. How much extra will it be to put it underground in the dense populated suburbs of Mumbai? I don't think it will be more than 11 or 12 or 13 or 15 kilometers. For 1200, 1500 crores, okay, that Nitin is going to talk about, you are going to subject us to this misery for the rest of our lives. With no way to go, no expansion, no way to expand the network, and there's no way you would even be able to expand your buildings and your infrastructure and your roads. So that's the end of the story. So here again, why then did you take that decision in the city when people are leaving the city and moving to the suburbs? What about the cost of land acquisition, relaying the utilities, increased length of the railways, because it won't go in a straight line, it's going to go meandering, project delays, environmental costs, social costs. Are these costs considered? Did someone make an estimate of what the social costs would be for people living in this area, what the medical costs will be for those millions of Mumbaikars who are going to breathe that air for 7 years of construction? What is the cost of relocating buildings and rehabilitating project affected persons? Are these costs considered? All we are saying is, again, we are not experts. So 5 years ago, we went to IIT Mumbai and we asked the experts sitting in IIT Mumbai, what is your opinion? They did a study, and their study shows the final net result is that the government must invest in underground. This word invest is important. Not spend, not build. The right word is invest. Because the future of Mumbai depends on this investment. Just like the future of every major city in the world depends on the investment they make in their mass transportation. Somehow in our city, we have built 52 flyovers and we are in the same mess that we were in before, maybe even worse. We have built Sea-Link, is still in a mess on the Western Express Highway, that's another story. We build roads, we build infrastructure for the rich. But when it comes to middle class, simple, ordinary citizens like you and I, the government worries about costs. They don't look at us as an investment. And who is going to use this metro? The students, the working class, the workmen, the middle income group. Why can government of Maharashtra not think of a little comfort for the middle class of Mumbai? 70% of the population. Why does the government always think of the comfort of the rich and well-heeled? Why do they always look at, shall I say, the glitz and glamour of how to polish up the city and dump everything else into the suburbs? I think these questions we, the citizens, are going to ask, and we're going to be asking very strongly of this government, because a government should think and worry about the well-being of the last in the line, not only the first in the line. If middle class Mumbai has to survive, then we require a world-class airport. If Mumbai, the financial capital of India, has to be a world-class city, We need world-class infrastructure for the armed janta who live in the city. So, IIT Mumbai says reasons why we must go underground, so that the existing urban fabric is not disturbed. We cannot afford it, so that arterial roads are not blocked, so that there is scope for further expansion underground. Now this is IIT Mumbai. The professors of IIT Mumbai who have given this report. Scope for integration of buses with taxis and the other public transport. Creation of additional urban space underground. Total decongestion of the city and minimal environmental impact. So, what I'd like to say in conclusion is, we believe that every densely populated precinct of Mumbai, the metro should be underground. Wherever we have space, open the sky space for expansion, like at the outskirts of the city, we have no objections to save the cost and have an elevated metro. Like if you want to have a metro down from Dahisar to Virar, and it's got to be elevated. Great, because we have space to plan around the metro. But when we have no space to even shake a toe, we cannot have an elevated metro. And we're going to take this up with the government, and we hope we will once again be successful in convincing them that Mumbai Metro Phase 2 must go underground. Yeah, that's it. First, did it finish, and then we'll have questions?
No, let them.
I don't have to
Let them.
Good evening, friends. Ansel gave very eloquently the overview of metro with very strong visuals. I'll deal with some facts and figures. In this very fall, on 2nd April 2009, we had a press meet. Same time. Some of us are yes, members of the press are also here, and we are talking the same citizens join hands to push metro underground, or metro must go underground. Well, since then, since 2nd April 2009, we had 4 chief ministers and as many metropolitan commissioners who had changed hands, and same arguments. And as is said that we are all fed up. Actually, it is why we have why we have to go through this kind of rigor, this kind of process. Why we have to say all the time, to use that common sense. Why we have to say all the time that we are right and you are wrong. So this is something absolutely basic which they have to understand. And any infrastructure project is meant for, and a project like metro is meant for at least 100 years. So what sort of legacy we are going to leave behind? And here we have to take pride in whatever infrastructure project which we are going to in our city. Look at our, starting with Skybox or elevated metro or even SRSK. Everything is in shambles. Nobody is really bothered. So this is something which is just not done. There is a myth that metro is cheaper, elevated metro is cheaper than the underground. This is totally wrong. In our context, because of so many hurdles, like for example in DAG route, I have shown the figures which is best to see. It was estimated for 1178 crores sometime in 2004 when it was conceived, went up to 2356 crores, almost double, exactly double for that matter, when contract was given to Reliance, and on completion it is 4,300 crores. So, why this is happening? In a small span of 11 kilometers, we have a railway bridge or a direct tracks, we have a Staybridge or Western Express Highway, and we have narrow roads, so they have to have continuous stations and so on and so forth. So similar thing is happening even in line 2, or for that matter any part of complex. So we have in line 2 actually we have to cross Dahisar, because now the metro yard is in Dahisar East, they have to come to Dahisar West. Then we have Mahindra, then I'm sorry, at Bandra tracks, then we have Kurla tracks. Similarly, there are 2 large water bodies. One is the Mahindra, other one is Mithiri. So these are huge projects by itself. And why we have to do this? And you'll be amazed to know that all our water bodies, which are within the cities, are not more than 4 or 5 or 6 meters deep. And metros are always, 15, 20, 22 meters from the ground. So it's really doable in that sense. Another very important thing is about road over bridges which we have to construct is just impossible. And look at it, how they are taking the line. We have a line which is existing railways, which goes say from Dahisar to Bandra and beyond. Just 5 minutes away, we are taking another metro line, which is on SV route. So what is the logic there? And this kind of duplication. Then we are planning another metro also, which is on Western Express Highway, which is also just 5 minutes away. Now this particular line, of course, this is not scope of this discussion, but when I say common sense, this is 16 kilometers long route, where almost 12 kilometers is affecting green space, national park. You can see this green zone. So it is serving whom? What's the ridership you are going to take from this sort of scenario? So these are some of the major issues. Another most important thing is, we just saw a few slides where open spaces are very congested. It's not just the open spaces, it's the safety. CFO suggests that you must have 6 meters open space, and we have, like you said, 6 or 2 feet width of this table, and we have metro buildings. Now, even if metro has the best of firefighting devices, but what about those buildings? If fire occurs there, it is bound to affect metro stations, and there is absolutely no answer to this. CFO had earlier given no NOC for this particular aspect, but somehow they are just bypassing the argument. So what we are saying is very simple, that you shows the study. For any major project, there has to be some precedence, there has to be some analysis, even if it is elevated or why you are discounted or why you are rejected underground. You show us the study, where the cost is going up, or what are problems. Nothing has been done. You just say that I want so and so, so we must do it. It's like having you just construct a house in the middle of the road, show it to the consultant, then he will find his own way how to go about. It is as dumb idea as that. So this is something which is just not accepted. And, lastly, in this 7 or 8 years, we have a code out. We had no option but to go to the code, and it very clearly said that no construction till you get all the permissions. So we want to know in last 7 years what permissions have they obtained, because we are very sure that some of the permissions are just not possible. For your information, Western Express Highway, Eastern Express Highway, and Sion Panvel Road, that doesn't belong to BMC. It belongs to PWD. And in their communication, they have written that at the most we can allow viaduct, but no stations. So stations has to be 300 meters away from these major roads. So how it is going to be possible? We already constructed skywalk. There are two or three skywalks along SV Road. They all will be bulldozed. We have already constructed Eastern Freeway. So you are going to take it on top of Eastern Freeway. So these are very crazy ideas. And as I mentioned that cost is a myth, time is a myth. Why 11.5 kilometers should take 7 years, line 1? Because of so many hurdles. And that is 11.5 kilometers. This is going to be 29 kilometers with 27 stations. Now each of these stations are 1 kilometer, as you know, but the width of each station is as wide as the road itself. For example, SV road is about say 90 feet, but the station itself is 86 feet, which is the smallest station. So, and this is happening every kilometer. So, these are absolutely, and we are not even talking about how many roads and footpaths and utilities, that is all apart. But very basic, fundamental. And no project, you have to see, especially infrastructure project, you put cost on the top priority. It is the benefit of investment. It is not what you spend, but cost benefit. And this cost benefit is not for our generation, it is for hundreds of years. Now look at the stupidity of line 1 also. We have elevated, fine. We have airport station, but there is no connectivity to airport. We have SIPs, MIDC, which are less than 500 meters away, no connectivity. So for those residents or for those commuters who are using this line, for them this option is gone forever. So, this is how it has been done in bits and pieces. And what sort of pride, as I mentioned, what sort of pride we take, or even the government, thinking of this. And if you see all these infrastructure projects, there's always a tagline that they want to do before the next election. No infrastructure project can be election agenda. And if that is the agenda, then it's like cheating, your own people. How can your election agenda that you will start something which has no validity, which has no future, that kind of project? So I think these are some of the few points.
Thank you, Nitin and Hansel. One or two very particular lines. In the last Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat, he spoke about environment and destruction of environment, and we should protect our environment. So if our CM hears Mann Ki Baat, there might be some changes. So today, Apna Mumbai Abhiyaan requests a meeting with the Prime Minister. Because Chief Minister, the people will try, because he's very keen on saving the environment. On all the 4 or 5 major issues which this organization is fighting for. Last, we had a coastal road. Today we are having a metro. Next is RA, and then open spaces and other issues. So to save Mumbai, all these organizations who are here now, also representatives are here, more than 30 organizations which covers the entire Mumbai. The representatives are sitting here. We are concerned to save the city, and as soon as possible, the higher-ups in the state government and the central government should give us time for this presentation and to understand what they are doing. Any questions to Hansel and Nitin, please?
Are you saying that the metro line should be underground, or are you also applying the same project to Andheri, the line?
See, the principle is, wherever the metro is going to pass through a densely populated area, it should be underground, because it's convenience to people living there. Now, the technical detail is up to the planners to do. We are not interfering in their business. All we are saying is, follow this principle to the core. Don't make exceptions at your own sweet will. That is our request. That's it.
Also, there was a public hearing that the MRD had organized on metro line 7, and there was absolutely no representation to this effect at the public hearing.
The reason being, what was announced in the press was that Metro Line 7 was going to be amalgamated with Metro Line 3 and it was going to be underground. So we said that's good enough for us. I mean, we have no objections to it being underground. Our objection is changing the decision to put Metro 2 underground and making it elevated. That is our only objection. Don't get us wrong, we are very, very, very much in favor of the Metro. That's the only way we can survive as a city. A. B. We are even more in favor of the underground metro because we believe that makes us a world-class city. Right? So wherever they're going underground, we're very happy. We're very happy that Colaba to 6 is underground. We support that. It's a very wise and intelligent move. But we'd like that same wisdom to be applied even for us for Burbies. There should not be 2 yardsticks to measure. There shouldn't be a class system.
In fact,
Yeah, go ahead. Shama, go ahead.
in fact, poor Burbies are the ones who are paying far more taxes than the ones living in South Bombay. So if we are paying more taxes, why are we being treated like stepchildren?
Yeah, go ahead.
The biggest disadvantage of underground metro in a city like Bombay is that Bombay is like only 14 meters above 14 feet above sea level. Then that may be the government's reason why.
No, actually that's another myth. The metro, when we say underground, is not 10 feet under the ground. It is 20 meters under the ground. Now, if you see the rail link between London and Paris, it is under the English Channel. So you see, there's absolutely no technical problem in doing that. Singapore is an island. They have built it underground for how many years? Technically, New York, there's absolutely no problem. The problem is with the mindset. They invest in the future of the city. We invest to solve, we don't invest, we spend to solve yesterday's problems to give us results for the next elections. So that is
The same problem, if it is there at all, then it's for South Mumbai also.
Yeah, exactly.
So the issue is not there for South Mumbai, why it's for suburbs?
Like coastal road, they are planning even ramp under the sea.
They want to build a tunnel under Juhu Beach.
Yeah, and South Mumbai is smaller landmass than North Mumbai.
So that's not a problem. There's absolutely no problem in going underground. Yes, sir. I think
A couple of years ago, there was a plan which was submitted to the state authorities under the pen of SOS about basically Mr. Kilawala, everyone had got together. Alternative route, how underground metro can be constructed, where all the stations can come. Will the same plan be submitted, or a new plan or something will be drawn by you?
Second step.
no, I'll answer that. See, we are not in the business of planning. A, neither are we in the business of giving plans to the government. We think government has got adequate resources for planning and execution. We respect that. All we are saying is, listen to our sentiment. We want a world-class Mumbai. For that, short-term measures are not going to give us a world-class city in the long term. We need to invest in mass infrastructure. The word is invest, and the second key word, or rather the first key word, is mass transportation for the masses, not for the classes. So if you can give us world-class transport for the masses, like we have on the suburban railways, 7.5 million passenger trips per day. The whole population of Switzerland is 6.75. So if we can do that, why can't we have world-class metro system?
Would your demand for underground be even for Metro 7 as well as Wadala, Thane and other?
See, wherever
Or
it goes
don't
across the
limit your
city,
campaign to Metro 2?
our contention is wherever the metro is constructed across Mumbai city, it should be underground. Greater Mumbai. Wherever it is outside the city, supposing you want to take the metro from Dahisar to Palghar, or from Dahisar to Virar, or you want to go from Thane to Ulhasnagar. Alright, we understand this. Open to sky, green spaces, you can have an overground elevated metro, no problem. But wherever we already have a population, you already have structures, you already have buildings, you already have roads, you already have slums, you have got everything. You don't wrestle with that, you go underground.
And more FSI coming in.
And more FSI coming in.
And MMRDA, basically they are in the process of finalizing bids as of now. So it's almost done. Would you be moving forward?
The last time they had finalized the bid and given the contract and they changed their mind. So we are optimistic about their fickleness. Yes, and we also have the legal option open.
There is one very important point. We talked about the expandability. We Census showed about Singapore. It is not just the expandability of the metro per se, but it is also expansion of other modes of transport, like on surface, buses and roads, etc. So you have to have that kind of connectivity, and that is possible only if you have underground. Now look at line 7 and 2A, which has been planned along the two sides of the existing railways, where if you have to go from say Andheri to Jogeshwari on the east side NSE, you go 12 kilometers and come down 10 kilometers. Because it is elevated. And when you walk down, you can walk within say 15 to 20 minutes. So this kind of, it's absolutely, I would say nonsensical planning.
Yeah. Yes, Jacob, you want to say something? Anyone questions? Any questions from the press?
Is it true that the BJP had this in the manifesto that will go underground and now
In the manifesto. Honestly, I don't read political manifestos because they all carbon copies of each other. So I don't know. I can't answer that question because I'm not an expert on that. Yeah, that.
Someone.
Dabble and
Darryl Monty from the Apna Mumbai Abhiyaan. Just want to point out that the island city is 100 square kilometers. Between the 2001 and 2011 census, it has declined in absolute terms. Not in the rate, in absolute terms, the population has declined. And the rest of the Greater Mumbai is about 380 square kilometers. That is where the growth is. I think in the handout, the densities are clearly given. The western suburbs have the highest densities, among the highest densities in the world, any megacity. And the surest sign of that is that if you see now the prices and rents in Nariman Point are less than those in BKC. The whole focus is shifting to BKC, Andheri and other Powai and other centers. So that is where the greater congestion is going to be, both residential and office complexes, and therefore all the more reason for it to go underground.
Just one point I'd like to add to what Diana said. The myth of calling us the burbies and the suburbs has to be completely eradicated, because we were the suburbs in the 1950s and 60s. I think this point has been made earlier. The city's grown so rapidly towards the north that the so-called suburbs are actually what he's mentioned right now, new centers of the city. So that argument of city versus suburb, first of all, is a completely wrong argument in every sense. Yeah, sorry.
Hi, this is Renuka Tahiliani, Apna Mumbai Abhiyaan. I was just responding to somebody who brought up the manifesto and BJP. This government was sworn in October 2014. From November 2014, if you go back and check any of the announcements for metros, they were all being planned as underground. And suddenly, June 2015, all the announcements reversed to overground. I would really like to know, this government started off so well by thinking about the city, and what happened within 6 months?
I can't answer that directly, Renuka, but all I can say is there seems to be a few wise men in the planning segment there who think they can do their own spin by taking citizens for granted. And I think all of us should make it a point to know today that we refuse to be taken for granted by any government, whether it is BJP or whether it is Congress or whether it is Shiv Sena or anybody. We cannot be taken for granted for two reasons. Whatever we are saying in total honesty, because we have no ulterior motive. We have nothing to gain or lose from this game. We are not doing this for money or votes or popularity or power. We're doing it only because of the interest we have for the city and for the Mumbaiker living in the city. And I think that is going to stand the test of all these trials that we have. And I'm sure we will be able to make sense to them when the opportunity arises.
Thank you. Ms. Gauri. That's it. Thank you. Just an announcement on next Thursday at 4 o'clock, same place, we are having a press conference on RA. A very important issue, burning issue. So, next Thursday at 4 o'clock at the same place. Thank you.